Welcome to tonight's brief update. We're just going to get you those daily expected moves for the SPY and the Qs. I do not know what's going on with Cox, but my internet has been going out every 30 minutes, so I have to make this video kind of fast. So we're just going to go over a few things and then one thing that I'm noticing from a big stock that could be a big warning signal. And we were talking about how the SPY could, and make sure you stick around for the Qs in just a moment because there's something important there. But we do notice that tomorrow we do have some daily expected moves, 609.02 to the upside and 604.56 to the downside. The SPY continues to have small ranges. The Qs actually went up a pretty good amount for tomorrow, so we're going to pay attention to that. But the big thing here is we're building liquidity. We are building liquidity. You can probably start to formulate some kind of triangle continuation here. But the main thing that we're just paying attention to is the fact that the 2-hour was able to cross up. Now notice as the 2-hour does cross up, it doesn't technically break through this little point right here. So we have to pay attention if this is going to curl down on the 30-minute. And the reason that we're going to pay attention if it curls down on the 30-minute is because we also have that line in the other direction creating the triangle. We'll see if that is able to turn down into negative territory with a small range. So right away, first of all, the main part of this video is to get you guys these daily expected moves. And I will go live a little bit earlier tomorrow to talk more about these things. But we were pointing out the fact that you do have this almost, is so close to being a double bottom that I want to call it because you have such a good upward move here for the RSI. So we were really liking the fact that that was there and saying, hey, this 2-hour does have high potential to curl up, and all of that ended up happening today. You notice there was a wick down at the end of the day, and that was almost a perfect test of our topside daily expected move. But we did end outside of those daily expected moves. We are building a bunch of liquidity in here, and maybe we're even going to get tighter and tighter and then see something happen when it comes to the FOMC. So we'll pay attention to that going forward. Switching over to the Qs, this is what I was really worried about, and you've probably heard me say this a few times. Going up too fast, going up straight up to where this is almost vertical at this point, and that's a big problem because when you start to make these moves, they can go for a while, they can keep going, but they usually end with a absolute waterfall. The faster you end up going up, ooh, you can go down even faster. So I do not condone trying to short anything like this unless you're seeing great signals from volatility, which we might show you in a little bit. But for the most part, we can see what are the Qs doing and what should I expect for tomorrow. You notice that these ranges have spread out a little bit for the Qs. You have 542.16 to the upside. We have 534.18 to the downside. And you'll notice, where are we right now? Well, one, we have violated the divergence point on the 30-minute, so we should be very open to, if this pulls back, for that to gain some support to head higher. But we are looking for what again? We are looking for the completion of something like this right here, right up in here, right above our monthly expected move. So we are looking for this type of behavior right up in here. We were looking for it. We did not confirm back down. We got rid of the signal. So now we have to look for it a little higher up. And that's what I would be paying attention to for weakness. Am I going to short the play? Well, if volatility is showing a signal, which it is for tomorrow, we need to pay attention to that. We need to pay attention to the fact that, hey, we are up by that weekly expected move on a Monday. And that is very, very interesting. So if this continues to go in the upward direction, you are really inviting that scenario for that flush moment. And I don't like to see that. So what we need to pay attention to is the fact that the 30-minute is still positive in positive territory. That would suggest this can continue. Or if we see a pullback, most likely buyers will step in. And then this is more the signal that I would be watching out for from the Qs. And we'll notice that the 2-hour as well, still holding that divergence point as of right now. But no 30-minute to hint at any kind of weakness. So if we are going to see further weakness, then this might be able to drop through and then end up crossing over this MACD. That would be a bearish thing to take place tomorrow. So real quick, I just wanted to point out a very bad signal and then talk about volatility. And then that's pretty much going to sum up this video. Google. Really wanted to bring up Google because I want you to see this 2-hour right here is not looking too happy. So if Google experiences weakness, it may be a massive warning for tomorrow. And I want to show this on a 30-minute because yes, this is a tight 2-hour divergence, but it is on the 30-minute, which would suggest, as it is above a weekly expected move, by the way, that's why the Patreon is so helpful. You can see how high or low a stock is priced in to go for the entire week with a 68% confidence. And you know, hey, if you're part of Patreon, you know why I am paying very close attention to this. If this crosses over, how close is it to the center line? Pretty damn close. How significant is the divergence? Ooh, pretty damn significant. So both the divergences on the MACD and RSI at the same time, it shows up on the 2-hour as well, which means Google can start to pull back on the daily scale if it wants to. Now, if you look at the 2-hour, it is far away from the center line, so it is likely that that is some kind of pullback to the 5, is some kind of pullback down to maybe gap support and then curls back up. But we want to treat this very, very seriously with how the Qs are pretty much going directly upward at this moment. Once again, I am not overall bearish on the entire market. I think that we are just due for a good pullback, and considering that we keep going in the vertical direction, that can end up being a flush moment. I don't want to be in that, so I have gotten rid of pretty much all of my longs except for my oil play. Now, the last thing I wanted to show you guys was volatility towards the end of the day. Now, I was looking for the 2-hour to cross up into positive territory. That's exactly what happened. But notice, with the bullishness going on today, volatility is popping. Volatility is popping. 9-day volatility is popping, right? So we see these things starting to confirm at the end of the day. This isn't a full bar, so we'll have to take that into consideration. But we have built up in this area for a while. You might even have a little diamond in here, actually, now that I'm looking at it. And if we break out, that can be some good liquidity. Well, technically on the options side, it would say, hey, the liquidity is there for volatility to come back into the market. That's overall how I would put it. But I wanted to talk more about the VIX real quick, because this is a massive deal. We have the weekly chart. We were talking about this over the weekend. This is still in range of going positive. So if the weekly ends up turning up here, that can be a big problem. But you know that I am leaning towards a pop in volatility now, in the next couple of weeks here. And then we see that subside and get down to 12.12. And down here, I think we're going to get tight. And then we're going to see some kind of massive trap in 2025. That's how I think this is going to play out. We'll see what happens going forward. But right now, you do see the breakout moment, even on the little 30-minute curling up at the end of the day. So if volatility is going to subside, we're going to head higher, and volatility is not going to continue in the upward direction while we head higher, by the way, well, then you're going to see this 30-minute curl down. This little 30-minute divergence here, this negative divergence, might mean something. Maybe that means we are going to get a 2-hour to curl down. That would be potential for some weaker divergences, I would say. But if that 2-hour does rotate down, it would suggest further positivity in the market. We're going to look at things like NVIDIA, AMD, and other things that are showing some potential reversal signals to the upside in the morning. So make sure you join us for the live video. But once again, this was mainly to get you guys these daily expected moves. So I'm just going to show them one more time here. 609.02 to the upside for the SPY, 604.56 to the downside for the SPY, and then the Qs are going to be 542.16 to the upside and 534.18 to the downside. So I'm sorry that I had to make it brief. They're telling me that the problems should be fixed. They said noon, then they said 1, then they said 3, then they said 4:07. So I'm taking this little moment to make this video for you guys. I appreciate you, so I'm just trying to get you these numbers before the day begins. But I do appreciate you being a part of this community. Thank you guys for liking the channel. Thank you for subscribing, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. All right, peace out.